So we in America can't even afford to live anymore.
Let's just say the quiet part out loud. I think everybody at this point is just surviving.
Hey, can y'all lower these food prices? We hungry out here. No, bitch. Food is not a right. If you can't afford it, then you just won't have it.
I'm about to lose my shit. I am about ready to blow a gasket. I swear, I am.
So how are we surviving? Because I'm a single mom who works a full-time job. I just got paid, and I have $7 left after paying my bills to last me 2 weeks. I have no food in my pantry. How?
Here I am. It is 11:45 at night on a Wednesday. I'm sitting on my bathroom floor because I feel like I'm going to have a literal mental breakdown.
Well, I've hit my breaking point. I literally cannot afford to live, pay bills, or any of this shit.
Across the United States, millions of Americans are feeling the pressure like never before. Groceries, rent, medical bills, everything is rising faster than paychecks can keep up. Families are cutting back, savings are disappearing, and everyday life is becoming a constant struggle. Today, we're diving into the harsh reality of America's cost of living crisis and why so many people say they're barely surviving.
I'm about to lose everything, and I don't know what else to do besides come up here and vent because I'm at wit's end. For like over half a year, maybe a year now, I have been struggling to pay all my bills on time. And when I first moved into this apartment 5 years ago, that wasn't an issue at all. When it comes to monthly bills in general, my bills aren't as high as a lot of people who I know are struggling and making it happen. So I feel ashamed sometimes as a man or as a person that I can't come up with the bills. It's frustrating. My educational background is an actor, and originally I was in LA before the pandemic trying to figure out how to make that a career, and COVID kind of brought me back to Philadelphia. When it comes to acting, what I love, what I dream, I can't pay my bills off of that. And to supplement my income, I drive Uber. Now, when I first started driving Uber, like in a weekend, Friday to Sunday, it would be easy to make, $700, let's say on average, 5 to 7, maybe 8, maybe 4, depending on how busy it was. But, I was able to get by. And unfortunately, every year, as the cost of groceries and electricity and everything has been going up, the amount that I've been able to make off of Uber has been going down. It seems like they'll charge somebody $40 and then they offer the person who's driving an Uber $12. If they charge someone $60, they offer the person who's driving for Uber $16. It's crazy how much money they take. So it's become harder and harder to supplement my income with Uber. And I've gone to try to work for other jobs because of that. And like many of us, started blowing up my credit cards. So I maxed out all my credit cards and I can't make those payments. I'm struggling to pay the car payment, the car insurance, the rent, the electricity, the internet, the phone. I'm trying to keep up with all those bills and picking and choosing. And I'm starting to get to the point where it's like I'm months behind. I'm making payment plans. I'm trying to figure out what's the most important. And it's all just like starting not to make sense. I try to keep optimistic in the midst of all that though. And I'm applying for jobs. I got accepted. I'm good at like interviews. I crush them. When I get a chance to talk to somebody, often I get hired. But I got offered a job at Abercrombie & Fitch. They're going to pay me $12 an hour. So I can't. That doesn't even make sense. So I'm at the point where it's like no job will pay me enough to cover my bills. And now my bills are so far behind. It's like I need $3,000 to fall from the sky, or I'm eventually going to just like, I don't know, they're going to repossess my car, or I'll get an eviction notice eventually. My girlfriend lives with me, man. She works 40 hours a week. She only brings in $2,000 a month. So I You know, I pay our bills, I'll go work, I'll do Uber, I'll go get us some food, and then we wait for that paycheck, and then she throws it at whatever bill she can, and then I try to feed us and keep us running until she gets paid again. And that's not working out. So I keep doing auditions. I'm trying to apply to be a firefighter right now. I Uber every day right now. It's Wednesday. I drove around from 7 till 11 and made $20. So I don't know what to do.
The cost of living crisis in America isn't just numbers on a chart. It's real people struggling every single day. Prices are rising faster than paychecks, and families are being forced to make choices no one should have to make. Groceries that used to cost $40 are now $70. Rent has become a monthly battle. Even basic things like healthcare, car insurance, and utilities feel like they're pushing people to the edge. And what's scary is that this isn't happening slowly. It's happening all at once. Millions of Americans are working full-time and still barely surviving, wondering how a country this rich became so unaffordable.
It hurts my pride to post this video, but I am freaking out about money today. I absolutely know that I'm not alone. I know that a lot of the people who voted for Trump did it because they thought that he was going to lower the cost of living, and very much the opposite has happened. And when the budget bill passes, because it's probably going to, probably a 98% chance they will find a way to pass it. Even if you're not on Medicare or Medicaid, which I'm not, I have health insurance through my company, it's likely that our health insurance premiums are going to go up. And the Fed is saying that they're not going to cut interest rates anytime soon. So we are literally backed into a corner where many people are now financing their groceries. They're putting like sandwiches on layaway, bitch. I am a lucky person who is at least living slightly above paycheck to paycheck, but I have a bunch of credit card debt that I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of. And again, it feels like shit to admit that on a public platform, but I think it's really important to understand that desperation for a lot of people leads them to a place where they will do anything to fix their circumstances, especially for those of us that have children. And I do understand that MAGA was simply desperate for any change. And that is why Democratic Socialists always win elections, because they're addressing the actual problem for the vast majority of people, which is the affordability crisis. And now we're staring down the barrel of another fucking gun. They're going to do this again, and life is going to get more expensive, and there are more tariffs coming, and what are we supposed to do? I am sick to my stomach thinking about all of the Americans that are about to have no health insurance at all. I just don't think that people understand how many Americans are about to lose their lives.
Let's just say the quiet part out loud. I think everybody at this point is just surviving. Every week I go to the grocery store, the amount of money that I spend is insane. I feel bad for folks that can't go into houses because it is not affordable anymore for folks. Luckily for me, I've been able to own 2 houses. I feel bad for younger kids that their parents don't have the money, or they didn't get any type of financial backing for college because college is not affordable. We got to really look at the system that's going on right now. You have an average American that's barely surviving. I'm at the gym right now, and I passed a food line. Say this out loud. We have a food line in the United States of America for people who can't get food. The United States of America is not a third world country. It is the most wealthiest country there is. But we have people that have to go in food lines to get food. Just think about that for a moment. The United States of America. Folks, the system is broken. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. At some point, as a country, somebody got to stand up and say, enough is enough. We got to support each other. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody. Chris with the Gems.
We are doing better than we've ever done as a country. Prices are coming down and all of that stuff. And now we have normal inflation. We're going to get it a little bit lower, frankly. but we've normalized it. You are so damn lucky that I won that election. I'm telling you.
So you can feel however you want about the election part of that comment, but the fact is, according to Trump's own administration, 2 reports released today are showing a completely different reality than the one the president keeps talking about. And another report, also released today, shows you aren't buying what Trump is selling about this economy either. Now, before I tell you about these reports, you should know that 2 of them are very late. Because of the government shutdown, we are now just getting the data from the Trump administration for the month of September. But one of the reports I'm going to share with you in this video is very current, and it shows that things have probably gotten economically worse for you since September. So first, let's talk about the government reports. You just heard Trump say that he has normalized inflation. What he means is that he has brought inflation back down to a normal level and prices have come down. Well, the Consumer Price Index report for the month of September shows the opposite of what Trump said. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is under Trump's control, says inflation was actually up 3% in September of 2025 when compared to September of 2024. For the record, inflation has been trending up the last few months, which means it's going in the wrong direction. But today, the Producer Price Index report revealed inflation is up for producers too. This report tracks the percentage of price increases that producers are paying for goods and services. And you know, if the cost is going up for them in the next few months, the cost is going to go up for you too. Today's report found inflation for producers is up almost 3% from last year. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the reason why costs are rising for producers is because of energy, which was up dramatically 3.5% in September, mostly because of the nearly 12% increase in the gasoline index and because of the price for food paid by producers, which was also up more than 1% in September. The other government report released today is from the Commerce Department, and it tracks retail sales. This report found in the month of September, you, the consumer, started to pull back on your spending. The report found only a 0.2% increase in retail sales between August and September of 2025. Economists were predicting a higher number, and they now say this sort of tiny increase in retail sales shows consumer fatigue, probably because of the higher prices we're all paying for stuff. The month-over-month slowdown in retail sales really showed up in this report in key categories that are definitely impacted by tariffs, including vehicles, electronics, and clothing. And speaking of what we're all experiencing, the Consumer Confidence Report released today showed your confidence in this economy plummeted between October and November of 2025. In October, the consumer confidence number was 95.5, and in November, it was down to 88.7. That is the lowest number we've seen since April. Coincidentally, April was the exact same month that President Trump announced his sweeping tariffs. So, what is shaking your confidence in this economy right now? According to the report, pretty much everything, both currently and based on what you expect to happen in the next 6 months. More people believe business conditions were bad. Fewer people believe jobs were plentiful. More people believe business conditions would get worse in the next 6 months, and more people believed their incomes would decrease in the next 6 months. So the reality is, when you take all of these things and put them together, including the government's own reports, it is clearly painting a different picture than the one President Trump keeps talking about. So, if you want to read all of these reports for yourself, I'm going to email them out to you in tonight's Backstage Q email, so make sure you sign yourself up.
See, this is exactly the problem. On camera, Trump is out here telling people everything is great, inflation is normal, prices are falling, the economy is booming. But the second you look at his own administration's reports, the story completely falls apart. The Consumer Price Index says inflation is up. The Producer Price Index says costs for businesses are rising. Retail sales, barely moving. And consumer confidence, it's crashing harder than ever. So while he's telling Americans they're lucky he won the election, the data is showing a reality that millions of people already feel. Groceries are higher, gas is higher, energy is higher, everything is squeezing families.
Here I am. It is 11:45 at night on a Wednesday. I'm sitting on my bathroom floor because I feel like I'm going to have a literal mental breakdown. How are people surviving? How are we doing this? Like, single people, specifically, single people in their late 20s that live in a city, how the are you surviving? Tell me. Please, please. I am 27 years old. I live on my own in Philadelphia. I'm a woman. I went to school for 5 years. I have a bachelor's degree in digital marketing. I owned my own business for 9 years on top of that. And one, I can't find a job anywhere. I'm trying to utilize my degree, can't find a job anywhere. I've been applying for months, almost a year. Can't, nothing. Two, I'm struggling while living on my own. Struggling. Like, I can't even put food on my table. I can't even afford my bills. I'm playing bill roulette every single month. Savings, don't know her. Cushion, emergency cushion, don't know her either. I'm at a loss of words. How the are people doing this? I'm on the fence, and I've essentially made the executive decision that when my lease is up, I have to move back in with my parents just to play catch up. Just to play catch up on debt, just to put money in my savings again, just to re-regulate my nervous system. Because being in constant financial distress destroys your body, destroys your emotional sanctity. I'm in a constant mode of fight or flight, wondering if I'm going to make enough money to get by and survive and not get evicted from my apartment, or I'm going to be able to feed myself. Just basic human necessities. With my chronic pain, with my chronic symptoms, my chronic health issues, this is just like poking the bear. It's poking the bear. Being in a constant state of financial instability is horrible for your mental and physical well-being. And if you already have something baseline that is wrong with you health-wise, this is just like adding fuel to the fire. I feel like I'm gonna throw myself off a cliff. Like I can't even enjoy my life.
Let me tell you how I know the economy is bad. I made a post about living in extended stay hotels. It has close to 1,000 comments. Hundreds of people talking about how they live in extended stay hotels and in their cars. Number two, I'm in a forum on Reddit, and every other post is about different types. They have the new sort of like payday loans that you do on your phone, and people are talking about how they can't even get those anymore. Like the ones that are against your check, people are extended beyond that. They can't get any kind of assistance. Number three, I would say every 20th video on my feed is about going to the food bank and what happens when you go to the food bank and how to use food from the food bank and what their people's experiences signing up for the food bank.
I'm about to lose my shit. I am about ready to blow a gasket. I swear, I am. I just got off the phone with my mortgage company, right? Because they called me. I was like, why my mortgage company calling me? I'm up to date on everything. Everything's cool, right? I just checked my bank account to make sure the payment came out. I actually sent them $890 instead of $840, which, is what I'm supposed to send them. And they called me up, and I'm like, yeah, what's going on? They were like, well, Mr. Hayes, we're calling to let you know that as of November 1st, your mortgage payment's going to be going from $840 a month to $991 a month. And I was like, for what? They're like, well, you're $900 short in escrow. And I was like, what do you mean I'm $900 short in escrow? How is that possible? How? Explain this to me. They go, well, your homeowner's insurance went from $2,600 a year on up to $3,400 a year. I said, for what? I haven't had any claims. I haven't had any issues or pop up or anything like that. What do you mean? Why has it gone up so much? Well, Mr. Hayes, you're going to have to call your insurance company for that. So now I'm going to have to call my insurance company to find out why in the my insurance went up so much to cause my mortgage payment to go from $841 a month to $991 a month. I'm barely making it as it is right now. Barely. I mean, we ain't doing bad, but we ain't doing great. What the f***, man?
So now we know why America didn't want us to see what was going on in China. And if you don't know, head on over to Xiaohongshu and check out those grocery hauls. Red Note. Go to Red Note and check out their grocery hauls. And if that's not a slap in the face for you, look at how much they spend on healthcare. Look at how much they spend on rent. We looking like a big joke in America. And if you want to get technical, somebody that just started using Red Note from America asked one of the Chinese people to tell them a joke. And you know what they said? Americans think that they're free, and we're really not. That hurt on every type of level that can hurt them. Are you serious? It makes sense now why they want to ban apps, why they don't want us knowing certain things. Look how these people are living over there, and then look at us. And not saying that that place is better than over here, because I wouldn't say so. But what I'm saying is, look how we have to go so hard over here. Minimum wage is how much? $7.25. Who can live on minimum wage?
So we in America can't even afford to live anymore. This 1976 cost of living, the average income was $16,000. A home was $43,000. New car, $5,000. Rent, $220 per month. Just look at these prices. So based on that, they're saying that the average income should be what, $84,000 now? So that means that with $240,000, I should be able to buy a new house. It's not possible. And also the average income is not $84,000. You know, most people are making way less than that. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, but it's not $84,000. And based on this, I should be able to get a new car. That's what? It says it would be like $5,000. So if my income is $80,000, a new car should be like $20,000, which most of the time they also are not. I mean, unless you're getting a value car. Also, if we're looking at this, your rent for the year should only be 15% of $6,000, which would be about $2,000 something dollars, which our rent is not 15% per year. It's like 30 or 40% per month. So yeah, something is definitely wrong. New car, nothing is adding up. So basically, we're not making enough to support what things cost, and it's a horrible thing.
This is exactly the proof that America's cost of living is completely out of control. When you look at the 1976 numbers, everything actually made sense. A $16,000 income could support a family, buy a house, own a car, and still leave room to live your life. Today, you can make $40,000, $60,000, even $80,000 a year and still feel broke. And it's not because people suddenly forgot how to budget. It's because the math literally does not work anymore.
Is anyone else just tired, just exhausted? The system that we live in today, the world that we live in today, I really do not think that it was meant for humans to live like this. We have a world where all we do is chase paper, gold at $4,300 an ounce, or almost. For what? You can't eat it. We have a system where we run. For what? I don't think it's natural for humans to live like this. Everyone is either addicted to caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, working out, just you name it. Everyone has some sort of way to get a dopamine high, and it seems so unnatural. And I think it is unnatural. Just wondering, anybody else feeling that way, thinking that, or is it just me?
I think we reached a point now where a lot of people done reached a breaking point, whereas they're starting to realize that, I'm either going to sink on this ship with this financial struggle, or I'm going to be able to stay afloat. And I'm starting to see a lot of people starting to have this rebellion of they're not buying nothing. They keeping that bread. I think it's very smart for people to start to strategize and figure out ways to try to minimize their costs of just their purchases. A lot of us overbuy. Me as well. I got too many headphones, too many technology items, too many TVs, too many pairs of jeans, too many things of cologne. I got endless amounts of bull-ish. But at the end of the day, it made me realize the things that we was comfortable doing before, we no longer comfortable doing now. We're seeing it. It's the reason why when I put a post out talking about today's economy, why people show love and they also send their comments and their views of how they feel about what I said. And a lot of people are not far off of how I feel. A lot of us. I might not be homeless. I might not be struggling to the point where as though I don't have no money in the bank, but I'm feeling it. You got government out of work right now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I tell you right now, people right now are sitting on their ass trying to figure life out. And trying to figure life out right now, you probably can't even figure it out. What are your options when there are no options? I seen a dude send a post out, find a second job. What the f that's going to do for you if your overhead bills is high already? Whereas though it was complimentary. I don't know if I said that word right, but ignore that word. Don't tell me I need to figure that word out. You figure it out. If you don't know how to operate with the money you was already getting, what is your second job going to do? Second job ain't going to do shit. And not only that, you got to be able to get hired from that second job. So that means if you're already out of work, that means you're looking to be maybe hire in the next 3 to 4 weeks, almost a month, because the hiring process ain't that quick. And if it's under the table, then you can get a job just that quick. But a lot of times, you can't find under the table jobs like you used to. People got those. A lot of people got those. And casinos doing bad. A lot of areas doing bad. You better look it up. Vegas doing very, very bad. They doing bad. Vegas is like a damn meat packing district right now. Like, hey, it is off the rockers right now. Y'all wonder why violence is so high. You know why? Is struggling. Yes, they are. Look, man. We doing bad. You got some people doing real good. You got some people doing okay. I'm one of the ones that's probably doing okay. Okay. Okay is you have a couple dollars in the bank, which can hold you over for probably a couple months, which is good. It's a plus. But you know what's not a plus? You get fired, all of a sudden that money gets swallowed up quick. When the money stops, the bills seem to start going up. You know why? Because now your ass is sitting home and now you're trying to figure it out and you can't. And you just sitting there like, damn, I got kids, I got this, I got that. Damn, the electric bill is due. Why the electric bill so high? I'm trying to understand why the electric bill. I'm sorry. I'm going to stay focused. About to talk about my own experiences. Why the electric bills just as much as damn mortgage or a car note? It depends where you at. It depends. Look, man, I take my hat off to y'all out here that's trying to figure it out. And if you have figured it out, hey, do what you got to do. But I can tell you this now. Don't look over to somebody for help when you see that they can't help you. I know a lot of times when people going through it, they ask the people for help. Guess what? The people that still got a job can't help you. You know why? Because they one paycheck away from falling flat, just like you.
Well, I've hit my breaking point. I literally cannot afford to live, pay bills, or any of this shit. And why the f am I alive? Like, I almost just bawled my eyes out inside a Walmart because I realized that I literally cannot afford to live. What the f is wrong with our economy? Like, What? What? It's either like this is my weekly life. It's either eat, pay money to eat, or don't pay other bills, or pay bills and don't eat, or like it's just like I have to ask my parents to help me to survive because I have no money, because all my money goes to bills. How do people live like this? And I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I almost think I need to move home because, like, I literally have no money to survive. Like, this is fucked. This is literally fucked. Why is the government and why are the states and why is all this shit built like this?
How do we fix expensive housing? Well, we build more housing, right? So these developers try to build this building. There'd be a cafe or a shop on the ground level for your convenience, and above that, there'd be 27 floors of housing, including affordable housing. And it'd be right by the metro, at the heart of San Francisco. And the best part, the land they wanted to build it on was just a parking lot. It wasn't some historic site that needed to be preserved, and it wasn't an existing residential area to tear down. It was just a parking lot, so there's nothing lost, especially since their new building would have a parking garage underground anyway. Well, let's go through their step-by-step process of getting this approved. Whenever you build something like this in California and in many US states, you have to have a public hearing. So they held this hearing, and the neighbors stormed in to angrily object. See, these neighbors already own houses in the area, and they want their own house prices to rise. So they don't want this new building that would increase housing supply and decrease housing prices. And frankly, some of them just don't want to live near poor people. Or in their words, they want to preserve the neighborhood character. But alright, one question. Why does the city council have to listen to these angry people? I mean, what are they going to do? Scream at this hearing? Who cares? Just build it anyway. Well, they care, because the way it works is that the housing zoning laws are decided by the city council, and the local city council gets elected by the local people. And these are the local people. Plus, these people are the most likely to vote. Whereas the young people who don't already own housing and would benefit from more housing are the least likely to vote. So these people call the shots way more often than they should. Plus, frankly, some of these city council members are these people, because the council members also already own housing. So basically, the people who already own housing write the laws to keep their own house prices high, while renters absorb the cost, and thousands are homeless. Well, what a surprise, the Board of Supervisors voted 8-3 to block this project. So alright, the solution to stop this is obvious, right? We just vote all these people out. Well, sadly, although it would definitely help a lot, it still wouldn't fix everything, because these people use even more tactics, which I'll explain. By the way, these people are called NIMBYs, because they see themselves as good people, and they do want more affordable housing. They just don't want it in their backyard, which is why they're called the NIMBYs, short for not in my backyard. And NIMBYs are ruthless. See, this Californian project also needed an environmental review, which it passed. But a California law says that even when the review is done, any person can appeal and say that the environmental impact needs to be studied more. These studies can take years, and court decisions on these appeals take more time. And as long as there is at least one environmental appeal, the building project cannot move forward. So a single NIMBY who frankly doesn't care about the environment can stall a building project over and over using these appeals. And one environmental concern for this project was literally that the tower could cast shadows. It took several years and the California State Attorney General calling out this NIMBY behavior as ridiculous, and sort of threatening the city of San Francisco with a lawsuit to finally get this one building passed. But by that point, financing had dried up, interest rates were higher, construction costs had skyrocketed, and the developers were now struggling financially. It might now be too late for them to build. Because this project and all the approvals and NIMBY hurdles have taken 9 years starting from 2016. And all of this was just to build one apartment building over a parking lot in a city which desperately needs more apartment buildings. So how do we fix this? How do we have some planning and regulation to make sure housing isn't just a chaotic mess without giving NIMBYs all the power? Well, there's something called by right development. Basically, we as a community just decide upfront what rules we want for all housing. We give the developers some checkboxes, and as long as they check off all the boxes, their building plan is automatically approved. NIMBYs can't protest it after the fact. A NIMBY can't make random excuses about shadows or whatever else and block the whole project. Like, if shadows are a genuine concern, fair enough, but we can decide on standardized rules for that up front. For example, in Tokyo, they set up checkboxes for housing projects like allowing a certain amount of fresh air and natural light, having earthquake-proof materials and designs, and not letting tall buildings be shaped in a certain way that would block sunlight for neighbors, which should address any genuine concerns about shadows. This means that in Tokyo, when housing demand increases, that raises the price of housing, which attracts more developers, who can build quickly by just checking off these clearly defined checkboxes, without worrying about public hearings. This increases housing supply quickly and brings the price back down. And it's how Tokyo keeps their rent much lower than other major cities, even though it's so densely populated. Germany does something similar, and it's part of why you don't hear about German housing being super unaffordable. It's a bit harder to introduce this type of thing in the US just because we're so individualistic. And NIMBYs thrive off of exploiting their individual protected right to block housing projects that would benefit the public good. And it's why other countries who rank high on individualism, such as the UK, Canada, and Australia, have a lot of NIMBYs as well. These countries build their housing remarkably similarly, and their NIMBYs also block a lot of housing development as shown in red, where the Anglosphere refers to these countries that have roots in England. And house prices in these countries have also increased massively.
So at the end of the day, all of these stories, all of these charts, all of these personal breakdowns we're seeing online are pointing to the exact same truth. America is in a cost of living crisis that most people can no longer outrun. It's not just young people struggling. It's not just older workers getting laid off. It's not just families living paycheck to paycheck. It's everybody. And it's terrifying how normal this has become. We're watching people work full-time jobs, sometimes 2 or 3, and still not make enough to afford basic life. Rent is swallowing entire paychecks. Groceries cost more every month. Cars are priced like luxury items. Medical bills drop people into debt overnight. And wages? They haven't even tried to keep up. The math simply does not work anymore. And instead of fixing it, leaders keep telling us everything is fine, while the reality around us gets worse. When someone making $40,000, $60,000, even $80,000 a year can't afford a stable home, something is broken. When 50 and 60-year-olds are getting laid off because they're too expensive while corporations hit record profits, something is broken. When inflation keeps rising, but our paychecks stay frozen, something is broken. And when Americans are forced to compare their quality of life to what people had in 1976 and realize we're doing worse, that's not progress. That's decline.